but behind closed doors, I'm a fool for your love.
Guys, back again, finally. Coming to you from the other side of the van, the side you don't usually see. And that's not because I'm trying to stand here being all suave. Hello there. It's because the van is a total shithole, and this is the only area that looks presentable. And that's because I'm in the van full time. The other reason I'm stood here as well is because fire. It is about -2 outside. It's cold as balls. So the last time I did a proper update, I can't even remember. I think I was saying I needed to get the van to a specialist. The clutch and flywheel that I did, well, if you've seen that one, you know how well that one went. That did fix an issue. The clutch and flywheel was knackered, but so was fourth gear, the cog, like there was just nothing left. Reverse gear was like, it'd gone off somewhere. I'd just done a complete number on the gearbox. I can't imagine how. Now, to be honest, when I bought this van, it had a gearbox problem. I bought it knowing it had issues. The guy told me it jumps out of gear sometimes. It just happened to manifest itself in different problems right up until it just picked on reverse and fourth and just didn't let go. A knackered clutch, knackered flywheel and knackered gears, and I did something like 13,600 miles. So I was pretty chuffed with that, to be honest, and for what I paid for it and what I got out of this van, I was pretty happy just to put a bit of money back into it to get it going again. Get me another 300,000 miles? Probably not. So the van went off to a gearbox specialist. I've just realised I'm wearing my works thing. This is not paid promotion, this is not anything, I've got back from work. But if you need a camper van building, you need coast to coast. Sort me out later, Spence, yeah? So the van went off to a gearbox specialist. We hunted for ages to find a garage that would look at a semi-automatic sprint shift gearbox. And it was pretty but we found one. It was in Birmingham, which is local to where I am. And got it booked in. Now the guy seemed friendly enough. He'd worked on sprint shift gearboxes before. He seemed to know what he was doing, and he actually had ambulances on his brochure. So he told me worst case scenario, if it needs a full rebuild, it'll be 1,250, which isn't too bad. So we got it booked into him. I did say to him I need it back quick because I plan to live in it. I'm going away for New Year's. I need it back. And this was what, halfway through November, towards the end of November. He had my van for a month, and every time I called, it was, oh yeah, I'll call you back. Bit frustrating, and eventually I started to lose my rag a little bit, and I called him up over and over again until I got my answer. And eventually he got back to me and said, yeah, it's pretty cooked. The gears, the actual cogs themselves were chewed, and the hydraulic system that actually does the gear changing was just completely f***ed. So he was waiting on, so he was trying to find parts for that. But it was getting really close to Christmas and I needed this thing back. I was staying at my parents', which at 28 years old is never really fun, and I'd just become a really grumpy, miserable bastard. At one point I phoned them and the guy was like, oh yeah, it's ready, it's just gone for its MOT. Why is it gone for its MOT, buddy? It had its MOT before I gave it to you. What are you doing? Oh, well that must be another one then, I'm getting confused. I'm sorry, how many giant grey ambulances do you have in there? Eventually the boss called me back to tell me it didn't go for its MOT, but it was ready. Got dropped off to go and get it, had my card ready, with the premise that it was costing me £1,250. Got there and the guy was like, yeah, that's £1,250.
Plus VAT.
£1,500. He'd tried it on, hadn't he? But he'd repaired the van. It was in his workshop. I wasn't getting the key until I was paying. I weren't happy, but at this stage, with all what had gone on, I just wanted my van back. So I was like, you take that extra £250, you. But I wasn't paying the full £1,500. because of some absolutely amazing people. The amount of people that got in touch with throughout this whole saga and offered help, advice, even insisting on sending donations to help pay for the van. I've never been that kind of guy. I like to work, I like to earn my money and pay for the shit I need, you know, like we all do. But these people were insistent, you know, they watched the videos, they wanted to help out, and I was like, okay. Expecting like, you know, £10, £20 here and there to help go towards it. And in total, £600 was raised to help towards my gearbox. Which, I mean, I'm still lost for words. It really got me. Random people, some of them the other side of the planet, just helping out for this weird guy that lives in an ambulance. It blew me away. I did get a little bit emotional. I'm still a man though. I won't be making a habit of it. It doesn't feel right to me to take other people's money for my problems. But it just really restored my faith. It's so easy to get wrapped up these days watching the news and hearing all the horrible crap that goes on. To just feel really isolated and feel like the world is a very cold place, but it just isn't. There's people everywhere that are willing to help. Yeah, you guys, you know who you are, and honestly, thank you so much. Anyway, enough about that, because I'm sounding like a right soppy bastard. Back to the story. So I got the van back, drove it home, and it drove like a dream. This guy knows his stuff about gearboxes. Am I going to give many recommendations? Hell no. It drove like brand new. For a week. Broken down again. Got the gearbox back a week. Run fine, and now nothing. No gears at all. I'm stuck on a busy roundabout over a motorway. They're not even open, so it's not like I can just get it sent straight back to them. I've got to wait till the new year, so my New Year's plans are done. Police are here. They're going to try and tow me to a safe spot, and then I've got to get towed by the RAC home, which I don't know how much it's going to cost. I'm gutted. Oh, here comes the siren. That'll be my lift, that'll be my engine. Here they are. So there I was, stuck on a busy intersection, police behind me, making sure nothing hit me, and they'd called a big police 4x4 to come and pull me off because this thing is huge. That 4x4 arrived, and the moment it arrived, the blue lights went on and it shot straight back off again. And I'm guessing they had to go to a job real quick. The guys behind come over and they're like, oh, really sorry, we can't get anyone. And then he paused for a second, looked back at his little Skoda Panda car and went, ah, f it, we need a new one anyway, let's just tow it with this. I've got a 2 police car escort to safety, one in front pulling and one behind, like moving traffic out of the way. So as we're taking the tow hitches off and getting that sorted, the officers from the police car behind come over and they were like nodding towards the van. I was thinking, oh, they've done like a police check or something. What's wrong with my van? Other than the fact that the gearbox doesn't bastard work. He turned around and he goes, just saw your Project.Amber, got you on Instagram now. So yeah, 4 of the nicest policemen for that situation. I could have got a proper job's worth and he could have been a dick, but these guys were just really nice, really friendly. Ah, my arm's burning. And I've got one sweaty pit. What makes it worse, there's a Mercedes dealership just there, but they only deal with the cars. The irony of it. So there I was, safe but completely mobile still. The gearbox just did nothing. It was like it wasn't even connected, which turned out to be the case. 4.5 hours later, once I'd gone to Tesco, took the dog for a walk, mate Carl had arrived to give me some emotional support because I was just a bit like... It was dark. I decided just one little last check. I'd been underneath it about 3 times. And as I got under the van, I nudged this cable as I was getting under. The gearbox is back alive. This garage didn't put a plug on properly, and that's what's just held me up for 4.5 hours! And the gearbox just fired into life. The hydraulic system started whirring, and it was there. The garage hadn't put the plug on properly, and it wiggled itself loose and come off. That was all that was wrong. The bright side of everything, I guess. I'm gonna get home. So that was that. It was back on the road. I was furious and elated at the same time. All that was going through my head was, I've just spent all of my money. Got to get this van towed home and then towed back to this fucking garage. They were going to have it for another month. I had to live in the parents again. I was going to miss New Year. It was all going tits up. My van was completely falling apart and it was just spiraling. So to then have that plug move and it all fire back into life was just, it was just a relief. Next morning I woke up and got out of the van and I noticed the battery tray. There was a little bit of like flaking on the bottom of it and I was like, oh, that's weird. Opened up the battery tray to find this. I've obviously tried jacking the van up or lowered the van off the ramp down onto something and just smashed it to bits. And you can see it's all been pushed up, so it's definitely something's gone up into it. I mean, it was rusty anyway, and that's why it's just completely obliterated, so it needed replacing, but it'd have lasted another year easy. My guess is the garage had left something underneath the van as they were lowering it off the ramps, and it'd gone through my battery tray. Oh, and they scuffed my front bumper, but I mean, this is my van. We've all seen how I do those repairs. La 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 la. Done. So now, as you can imagine, I'm not going to be recommending this gearbox specialist to anyone. I'm not even mentioning their name. A few guys on Instagram and Facebook were like, name a shame, put him out of business, blah blah blah. But I'm really not a fan of slating somebody's business on the internet for however many people to see. I don't think that's really on. I used to run a tiny business myself, so I know how catastrophic something like that can be. And at the end of the day, it was probably one of his idiot lackeys. So there we are. The last saga to the whole gearbox from hell, whatever it was. I mean, I've been back for 5 months now, I want to say. The moment I touched down on British soil, it's just been problem after problem after problem. But from the power of the internet and social media, you all, I've been kept sane. And I have a van that's working again. And as of New Year's, I am in the van full time, trying to give the whole van life thing a go in the UK. And so far, it's going great. I found myself a good few spots. It's really quiet out the way places. A carvery that if you go and buy a meal, they'll let you stay in the car park. A campsite for luxury, when I want endless electricity and water for showers and whatever. Laundry, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I've pretty much got a spot for every night of the week. And then they're all within a 10 to 15 minute drive from my work. So my plan from now that everything's done, I'm back in the van, my plan is to work. Everybody asks me, and I know loads of other people that do this thing get asked the same questions. Where does your income come from? How do you earn money on the road? How do you afford to do it? And in my case, I'm back in the UK to work, to save up. I only saved £10,000 together so that I can go for my round 2. Realistically, I'm looking at 9 months to a year. I could go and rent a place, but that's these days £600–700 a month going on a place I don't even own. Whereas now it's £600–700 a month that I'm saving, and that is pretty much the reason I'm living in the van. In the place I'm working now, the guys there are lovely. It's a family-owned business. I stated exactly what my intentions were. Back for a year, I'm going to work, and they were cool with that setup. So yeah, I'm going to be in the UK for a while. I've still got a number of van renovation videos to finish. I've got loads of different video ideas. Quite a few people are getting in touch with questions and asking me to do a question and answer video, so more than happy to do that. If you've got any questions, stick them in the comments. I'll collate them together and yeah, probably do an FAQ video. And then I've been toying around with the idea of doing like a bi-weekly van life UK update, how I'm getting on living on the road here in the UK. So far it's been great, but that doesn't mean my videos are going to be stopping, just slightly changing for a little bit. I've said it previously, I want to change my opinion of England and the UK. When I left to go on my travels, I did not like it here. I just saw such a dark side of this place, and I know that isn't the case, so I will be travelling England, Wales, Scotland, maybe even Ireland, who knows. And yeah, just exploring my own country in the British Isle and seeing what it has to offer. And then by hopefully winter, end of this year, to January, February next year, the money will be together, the van will be completely upgraded and ready, and I'll be back off. I've just done this whole video with a really non-manly drink in my hand. Rhubarb and custard cider though, it's so good. So yeah, that's my update. That's where I'm at, and I intend on keeping the videos coming out and keeping you updated on how I'm getting on living in a van in the UK. I can already see so many challenges ahead. Doris from down the road.
Hey, you can't do that, I'm calling the police.
Right, I'm going to leave it there because my arm is on fire. I haven't eaten yet and it's 11:30 on a school night. Oh, sorry, burped. So I need to eat and get to bed. So yeah, stay tuned and thanks for watching.